State your name and address for the record.
Hello, David Morrisette again, and I still live at 5 Fairview Heights, Phillipsburg, New Jersey.
Since 1995.
Since 1995. I hadn't planned to, but since the last conversation with LMR and the discussion, a couple of things I just want to state real quickly. At the planning board meeting, there was discussion of waste disposal containers. And that discussion, I've actually verified my recollection of the discussion with several other people that attended that planning board meeting. That planning board meeting, that discussion on the waste disposal containers was specifically referencing waste disposal containers being able to be stored for restaurants and those types of businesses where they would be able to put the rubbish out. A resident came up and actually said, hey, I'm really worried because this conversation on waste disposal containers sounds like we're letting LMR in. And the resounding answer to that question, that query, was absolutely not. We are not discussing that area for the waste disposal containers. It is only the area down there at the riverfront. And it is on tape.
You can read page 47. It's not. It's 76.
It's not specified on the minutes, but it is on the tape.
Okay, read the redevelopment plan. It's right there.
Oh, on the redevelopment plan, it does have waste disposal containers listed there, but it doesn't have trucks. It doesn't have the authorization for LMR to come in. In fact, the entire council voted against LMR coming in after LMR and the attorney didn't show up for their hearing.
This council or the prior?
The entire planning board voted against it.
Oh, okay.
All the people up there that were at that planning board meeting actually voted against LMR coming in. Okay. Now, no, I'm not saying anything wrong happened here, but can I ask a question or two?
Please.
Okay. Councilmen Lutz, I think I have you on tape. In fact, I have you on tape stating that you actually went and visited LMR and you actually had a conversation with them. Is that correct?
Correct.
And discussed everything.
For the record, Mr. Morrisette, I just want you to understand that you can ask, they can voluntarily not answer.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. All right. Is that okay? And Council President Fulper, I believe you've actually had conversations with representatives from LMR.
Yes, I have. I've driven down there myself to view the site.
Okay. And have any other council members here actually had conversations with any representatives from LMR?
I want to answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Number one, the mayor called me and told me about LMR and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that what they're doing, they're taking part of the Norfolk Southern land and this and that and this and that. So it was just about dawn. And I wanted to see myself. Okay?
Sure.
I went down there. I saw nothing was wrong with what they done. They cleaned that place up from White Rock Chemical to what it is now. It's like 200%. 200% of what they've done. I turn my car around and I go out and here comes a garbage truck heading right at me. And it was the owner and he asked me what I was doing there. And that's why I always say when he's here, we met at a funny situation. And he laughs all the time. I do too. But I explained why I was here, and I said, I went back because the mayor said that this was being done and that was being done. And that's how I met the man. I didn't go to his office. I didn't sit down with him. I didn't see anything. When I was back there, I'm telling you again, it's like 200% neat and clean and done. And when I was back there was only empty containers. I don't know where you people are coming up with garbage containers and everything else. Even in the minutes, it states he can only store empty containers back there. That's what he was saying. And that's in the minutes. If you look on your camera, that's what it said. So thank you.
Okay, so normally, the normal procedure is if somebody wants a variance or a change to a development plan, they go to the planning board. And how many folks here have ever been on the planning board? Councilwoman, I know, and Council President. Okay, so you guys know the routine, right? So you go to the planning board, and we all know why the planning board process is in place, is that right? The planning board process is in place. Did you want to answer? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just actually, if you could, rather than form it into the phrase of a question, I'd be more, I understand what you're getting at, so if you could just make your point for the crowd.
So the planning board process is in place so that if anybody wants a variance or some kind of a change into the established regulations, they come before the planning board and they discuss their case, why they want a change. And they do that so that their issues are out in the public. And there can be a public discussion as to why they should have a change. Well, that didn't occur because LMR, nor a representative for LMR, ever came to the planning board meeting. It was stone cold silence because nobody was there. So there was no way to discuss with them why what they want to do might make sense and be of a beneficial use to the town. So the planning board obviously didn't see a beneficial use, and you've already heard a number of reasons why it wouldn't be beneficial. And interestingly, you guys, I know, Council President, you've done the planning board training.
Yes, sir.
And Councilwoman, I know you're still up for that. So when you go to training, one of the things they tell you on the planning board is that when you go for training, you may go and visit a site. You can look at the site. You can say hello to the guy there. But under no circumstances are you to discuss the variance that is coming up before the planning board. And the reason for that is you are not to discuss it because that issue is supposed to be discussed in public and put in minutes and put on tape.
Are you asking if we discussed the variance? Because I didn't, in my discussion with them, I didn't discuss the variance.
I've never spoken to him.
So you never discussed the idea of amending the redevelopment plan?
No, sir.
See, that's the reason that you don't have anything more than a hello, if you even talk to them at all, because you don't know what people talk about.
Sure. Well, I'm not going to stop discussing anything with the residents in town just because other people would like to speculate upon what I may or may not have said.
You don't have, but you don't have
Sure.
that. You don't have that obligation as a town council member. As a planning board member, you do.
Correct, and that I can understand. For full transparency, when I had met with LMR, I welcomed them to the neighborhood. I wanted to know more about his business, what it was that he was doing, and quite frankly, I wanted to know what they were going to do with the Carl's Auto Glass building because it looked run down. I had a question. Again, it's a new business. It's here in Phillipsburg. I ran on a platform of being business friendly. I want business here. I understand, not everybody, I can't tell you that they can't come here because they're a trash company. It's discriminatory in my opinion. I'm not going to tell you what kind of business you can or can't have.
Well,
but that's just me. I don't speak for all of
right,
council.
you don't speak for everybody.
Yes, sir.
And I don't speak for everybody either.
No, I understand.
But I do know that the vision of the people that I speak to in the town, the vision of the people on the planning board, this company, in terms of the business they're going to be doing, does not fit in with our long-term goals for the riverfront redevelopment. The riverfront redevelopment is getting a seed right now down there at Union Square, hopefully. That's going to go through. And it is going to spread. And I may not live to see it, but there are people in this audience that will live to see Phillipsburg transform and become the new place that people want to come.
Mr. Morrisette, I appreciate your vision. I do have to cut you off because my colleagues are
Thank you.
telling me. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming up.
I'm sorry for taking so much time.
Nah, you have every right, so thank you.
Council President, may I respond?
Mayor, absolutely.
Really briefly.
Yes, sir.
I know, I was, this is first person, I was on the site, and the town wanted that site during the last council session. It was important to get the Morris Canal Greenway through there and some other trails that I think Councilman Piazza was working on. So we were looking at it, but there was a $500,000 lien, EPA lien for cleanup.
I saw that, 479,000.
Something like that,
Yes.
from White Rock. So we stayed away from it. We also had a lien against it, and Attorney Winter, if he was here, would confirm that we were going to foreclose on the property, but that $500,000 we had to consider the taxpayers. Well, I was called down to the site by a DPW worker. What had happened when they were cleaning up the property, as Councilman Lutz said, they knocked off one of our sanitary sewer collection manholes because it wasn't attached, and a lot of rocks and dirt, and we had to dig it out because if it gets out into the disposal plant, it hurts the rack and screen. So Attorney Winter's going to be cold, but we did go down to the LMR site with construction code official Kevin Duddy and inform them verbally, Rob was there, that you do need to go for zoning, you do need to go for a site plan. And at that time, it was very clear, and he agreed to do so. There was a violation also of soil conservation. Anything over 2,000 square feet.
Right, Warren County Conservation, Soil Conservation.
Yeah, Warren County Soil Conservation. That is it Contrell? Contrell?
Contrell.
Yeah, he did Contrell, thank you.
You're welcome.
He did go to Belvedere and obtain a soil conservation permit. There was 15 foot of the North Fork and Southern Bank removed, but it was his property. The concern was the erosion coming off the railroad bed that was cut without any type of reinforcement. I think that's still in discussion between Norfolk and Southern and doesn't involve us. It was just part of the cleanup of the site. At the present time, again, just facts, I'm not making a stance on this. There are garbage trucks down there. I think you need to take a look. Betty is storing some trucks down there that, again, he's going for a site plan, so
Right.
that'll all be determined.
As long as there was no trash inside, I believe we had said it was okay.
Yeah, just wanted to share
I
some
appreciate
history
it.
of the